if you sell anything that people have to think about before they buy, you're going to learn quite a lot from what I'm about to share with you. If you sell real estate, you sell vehicles, you sell luxury items, you sell consulting, you sell something that the typical person will have to think about and consider before they buy. You have to pay attention to this. Now, the biggest challenge you face when you are selling what is essentially a high ticket item is procrastination. The biggest enemy of sales is procrastination. Why? Procrastination is a pleasurable experience for a potential customer. Procrastination costs nothing, and procrastination gives people the freedom to postpone or delay a difficult conversation or decision that will make them spend money, right? So procrastination is the enemy when it comes to sales. Why? If you give people the time, people will postpone, people will delay, and it's everywhere in our society. If you ask people to register or do anything, they will delay up until the very last minute. And if there is no last minute, they will continue to delay. So the moment people ask for time to consider what you're selling to them, or you're selling them something that they need to really sit back and consider and reflect before they decide, your biggest enemy is procrastination. Now, how do you deal with procrastination? That is what I'm about to share with you. Procrastination is a disease. Procrastination is a problem. And the cure is scarcity. Now, I'm also going to give you a couple of examples within contemporary society so that it really drives home the lesson I want to speak to you about. When it comes to scarcity, I'm talking about two types of scarcity. I'm talking about the scarcity of time and the scarcity of opportunity, right? These are two very interesting concepts. As I speak to you, there are two banks in Nigeria, two major commercial banks that have a public offer, are essentially selling their shares. And one thing you will notice, one of the banks is trying to raise almost $500 billion, right? One thing you will notice is that this public offer has a deadline. Now, there is nothing that technically makes it impossible for those two banks to sell their shares, GT Bank and Fidelity Bank. Nothing technically stops them from making these shares available for the rest of the year, for making it available for 6 months or 1 year. But guess what? There's a limited time to act. If you do not act before that deadline, you miss the opportunity. So what these banks are doing is that they're introducing the scarcity of time to push people who may dilly-dally on such an opportunity, to pressure people who may ordinarily procrastinate. They push them to take action. And that is how the scarcity of time works. If you sell something that will require consideration, you will benefit quite a lot from setting a deadline and not making it eternally available. When a product is eternally available, Nigerians will call it see finish. What it means is that I can buy it anytime I want. I can buy it tomorrow. I can buy it next week. I can buy it next month. I can buy it next year. And guess what? I may never even buy it. So once you create the opportunity for people to feel that they have an abundance of time, they are going to abuse it. And that abuse is called procrastination. So what do? You make it clear that the time is limited. You make time scarce. You compress it. So you have to set a deadline. If you do not purchase by this deadline, if you do not join us by this deadline, if you do not take advantage of this opportunity by this deadline, guess what is going to happen? You're going to miss it. And once there is a deadline, all of a sudden, procrastination that used to be free, that used to be costless, all of a sudden procrastination becomes risky. Because when there's a deadline, if you delay, you're likely going to miss that opportunity. All of a sudden, procrastination becomes expensive. If you delay when there's a deadline, you're going to miss that opportunity. So this is a tactic, this is a strategy that has been used for centuries. Human beings are afraid of scarcity. Whether it is scarcity of food, scarcity of opportunity, scarcity of resources, we get into, I don't want to call it panic mode, but essentially there's a reset that happens in your mind when you know that this opportunity will not be available forever, when you know that there is a deadline. So all those reasons and excuses you have to procrastinate, you have to do away with them. So that's about the scarcity of time. The second type of scarcity is the scarcity of capacity, the scarcity of the product or the thing that you sell. Let me give you an example. If you're an avid fan of a soccer club, of a football club in the Premiership League, right, and you want to watch your favorite club live in the stadium, guess what's going on here? The stadium has a limited capacity. Maybe they have 20,000 seats or they have 40,000 seats. And there are people across the world that are interested in coming to watch that game. So the thing is, there is a limited opportunity in terms of if you do not act in time, all those seats will be taken. If you want to watch your favorite artist, Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid, right, in a live concert, the space is limited. They have 10,000 seats, 20,000 seats. If you do not act, you are going to miss that opportunity. So that is why it is not always good to make something eternally available. How many units do you have? Any number you want. If I can always get it, if it is always going to be available, I don't need to buy it today. I may buy it tomorrow. I may buy it next week. I may buy it next month. I may buy it next year. And guess what? I may never even buy it. This is a strategy that companies like Apple and Nike use to great effect. They tell you they have limited stock, and that stock is going to sell out. So within 1 to 2 days of the sale day, you see that their premises are inundated by crowds and hordes of people who don't want to miss out on that opportunity. Why? Because the availability is limited, because the capacity is limited. So what I'm saying to you again, if you sell any item that requires consideration, if your item requires the potential customer to think and consider and sleep over it, you are risking procrastination. Procrastination is the biggest enemy of sales because it is a painless poison. It just steals time and it is a pleasurable experience. It doesn't cost people anything to postpone a decision, right? They don't risk anything by buying your product tomorrow or next year. But the moment you introduce scarcity, all of a sudden, procrastination flies outside the window. So I want to make this very practical and relatable so that it doesn't sound like theory to you. So I'm going to use myself as an example with a live product, right? If you're watching this in August or before the 1st of August, it means I have launched my business mentorship group, the BMG. It's my exclusive group for entrepreneurs and business owners who are trying to start, run, or grow their business. So essentially, this is a product that is supposed to help anybody who is struggling with anything in their business, whether it is getting more customers, raising more money to start or grow their business, optimizing their operations, maximizing their profits, managing the resources in their business, whether it is employees or strategic partnerships, and essentially improving the overall performance of their business, right? If you run a business and you get this kind of proposition, you can always postpone, right? I can improve my profits next year. I don't need a consultant. I can raise money next year. I don't need a consultant. I will try trial and error. That is what people are going to do. They're going to keep postponing. So what I've done with the BMG, which again, I need to mention here that some people fake scarcity. You can fake scarcity. For example, you have an unlimited number of the product, but you claim you have a limited number, right? Or maybe the product is eternally available, but you set a fake deadline. People are not stupid. They can see right through those kind of things, right? So if you're going to do this, you have to do it. You have to do it right. So what some people do is you can, the knowledge and the expertise you want to transfer, you can put it in a book. These days you have digital books. You can put it in a course. The problem with those things is that you cannot say you have limited copies of a digital product, right? It's a digital product. There's no limitation. You can have 1 million copies of it of a digital product. So that is why I have chosen a mentorship group. And what a mentorship group does is, when you read a book, for me, it's light on the surface. But a mentorship group is deep because you get to work with the experts and the person guides you along and gives you tailored advice and guidance, unlike coming to your own conclusions after you read a book. So what it means is that I have to be personally involved. And since I'm personally involved in the BMG, I'm just one person. So what it means is that I cannot serve everybody. My capacity is not unlimited. I can only work with a limited number of people. So by design, my product has limited capacity. My product has limited opportunity. If you are not one of the people who can fit into my limited capacity, you are going to miss out on the opportunity. So that is why this particular product has limited capacity built in. The second thing is that when you have a mentorship program, you can't allow people keep coming in and leaving. It's like, if you remember when you were in school, imagine the teacher is engaged with the students, and you have people coming in and leaving, it's going to cause a lot of distractions. There are people who are going to come in and draw back the class. So what it means is that when I recruit members of my mentorship group, I have to close the doors. And what it means is that I cannot allow new people come in, so that they don't distract the class, they don't draw us back, and they don't cause trouble for the class. So by design, the product needs to have a deadline. Just like schools, there's an enrollment season for school, whether it is primary, secondary, or university, right? If you miss the enrollment, you have to wait until the next enrollment, which might be later in the year or next year, which is the same thing with my BMG, right? If you miss the enrollment, you will have to wait until the next opportunity in 2025. But while we're at it, although the essence of this lesson is to teach you about scarcity, I've just shown you how, in my line of business, which is business consulting, of all the options of things that you can sell, you can create a product that by design, you are creating scarcity of time and you are creating scarcity of space. And not because you are faking it, it is real, right? If you don't get a space, because it is one person, there's limited capacity. Because it is a mentorship group, people cannot come and go as they wish. You can't join anytime you like. There's a limited spot. You can only join in August of 2024 for this year. If you miss that chance, you have to wait until 2025, right? And there are limited seats. Why? It's a physical thing. I'm one person. I need to be able to interact with the people who join my mentorship. Above a certain number, it loses the quality, so I cannot work with everybody. I have to work with a limited capacity. So if you're one of those people who have been following me on social media, I'm sure you've already heard that the BMG is live. If you've been watching my videos, you love my lessons, you like how I dissect, diagnose problems, the kind of advice I give, I'm sure by now you know that I can be of a lot of value to your business. Whether you're trying to start your business, you're trying to run your business properly, or you're trying to grow your business and take your business to the next level, the BMG is a unique opportunity, because this is the kind of value that big companies get. Because people like me, they can trap us with a big salary, right? So it's not every time you find one of the wild ones like me out there in the wild willing to provide their expertise to small and mid-sized businesses. So this is a unique opportunity. I pray you're one of the lucky ones who can make it into the business mentorship group. The waiting room is already filling up. If you want to join the BMG, you can do that by following the link in the comments, or by clicking the link in my bio, or just going straight to activatorhq.com/BMG. activatorhq.com/BMG. Don't forget, in this video, I made it very clear, procrastination is the biggest enemy of sales. Procrastination is a poison. Procrastination is a disease. If you give people time to procrastinate, they will take that time and they will abuse it. Especially if you sell a product or a service that requires decision and consideration. How do you fight procrastination? The antidote to procrastination is scarcity. Scarcity of time, scarcity of opportunity. If you do not limit the time, people are going to take their time and they may never buy. If you do not limit the opportunity, people will always think whenever they get the money or whenever they want to buy, that's when they are going to buy. If you leave people, they are going to procrastinate. Procrastination is in our DNA. Procrastination is a human phenomenon, right? So the best way to counteract it is exactly what I've shown you. And if you're one of those who will join me in the BMG, there are lots of these kinds of things that I can teach you that can transform how you do business, how you get results, how you make sales, and how you get your profits. So see you inside the BMG. Cheers.